Call the 2024 election canvassing board meeting to order. The purpose of the meeting is to canvass the general election, the November 5th, 2024 special election. And I will pass it off to our clerk, Amy, for an introduction. Amy, if you'll turn your microphone on, please. In front of you there, hold the square button down. Yep, you're good.
Good morning, Mayor and Council. Thank you for coming to our canvassing board meeting. We're here to certify the abstract of the votes cast in our local election results for the city of Credit River during the state general election that was held on November 5th, 2024. Based on the Minnesota statutes, as the governing body of Credit River, you are the canvassing board and must meet between the 3rd and 10th day after the election to canvass the returns and declare the results, which we will then turn into the county. We had, all said and done, an 87% turnout for Credit River, which was really great. And I will turn it over to the mayor to look at the results.
Okay, thank you, Clerk Jones. Council members, in your packet today, we've got the election summary report and the abstract of the election. Is there any questions on the results as you see them?
Yeah, I do have some questions just because I've my first experience here, so maybe it's more of, I hope not to slow this down too much.
No, you're fine.
So page 3 and page 4, I see, just looking at the totals, how does that correlate? So page 3, I've got 1857 of 445. And then the next page is 3827 of 4045. Can you help me understand what those numbers are really telling me?
I'm assuming that one page is precinct 1, one's precinct 2.
No, actually, one is including the absentee ballots. And one is just absentee and one is all the votes.
Oh, I see. Okay, up on top, I see that. Thank you. That makes a lot more sense.
Yes, I couldn't get the numbers to add up either. Okay, so the first page is just the absentee.
Mhm.
So what's the 4045 number? Because you just said there was an 87%, but that
Is that the total registered voters?
I took the total registered voters that were registered at the beginning of the day. I added in the people we registered that day. And then I just took a percentage of how many people of that number had voted, and that's where I came up with that.
So Amy, on these pages then at the top here, where it says times cast, where it says like page 3, it says 1857 out of 4045.
Mhm.
Is the 4045 the number of registered voters at the beginning of the day, right?
Actually, I gave you my sheet that has that on it. Tanya, do you have your sheet?
here's an extra one too.
Fine.
Good. Oh, here you go here, Tanya.
Right. So
That looks like a percentage of, I'm gonna assume that.
So you wanna go
the
to page
40,
6.
45 is the number of voters.
Yeah,
yeah,
that looks like the number of morning, the day, how they began the day.
right. And then we added 230.
But then when you said 87% turnout, that
Yeah.
didn't make sense to me.
Okay, I apologize. I'm just basing this on page 6, where I took the number of persons registered as of 7 a.m. I added our 230 from election day. And then I divided that into the total number of persons voting, 3827. And that's where I got the 87%.
So even though they're registered, doesn't mean they voted.
Absolutely.
Which is where on page 3 is the 445. That's how many the county gave us as the population for Credit River.
So there's 100.
This is our, yes. So registered voters is 4045.
But then that doesn't correlate to the 4165 on
Right.
page 6.
Which comes from the poll pads, I thought.
I suspect that probably some could have registered in the early voting period.
Oh, absentee.
the
Right.
Absentee period,
Yep,
right? So you had-
exactly.
So we started the election
With 40,
because the
45.
4,045 has been the number that has been, was. at the end.
Pre-early voting.
Correct, right? So like would have been through the primaries and all that.
Yeah,
And then I would suspect that we added.
120
during the early voting period. And then 230 on election day.
Right,
Okay, sure. So you're, prior to the start of early voting, we had 4,045.
mhm,
At the completion of early voting, we had 4,165. At the completion of our election day, we had added 230.
so it would have been a total of 4395.
Yep,
okay, that makes more sense.
okay.
And then that becomes 87%.
Okay,
and then we had total number of persons voting as 3,847.
Right, yeah, that's what I divided the
Again, that's where you get your
4165 plus the 230 into to
Right.
get 87%. Yeah.
so does this, like page 4 come from Scott County then? Or
Yes,
where did
all
this-
of this came from Scott. County.
Okay, it's odd that they would have the 40-45 there instead of what actually was
What the-
registered at the end of the election
Or at the
day.
beginning of the day, right? I mean,
Cause that
because that-
94% is very misleading then.
it
Right,
is.
yeah.
Okay,
So we only have to sign off on the abstract.
As is the 94.
On the abstract.
So
Yeah.
page 3 and 4 are not part of the abstract.
Gotcha.
The abstract starts on page 5.
okay,
Yeah, there's the
Okay.
summary reports,
Okay,
so that was just for you guys.
So what we're concerned with starts at essentially
Page
the
6.
data on page 6.
Yeah.
correct.
Okay.
alright. It's just, it's fascinating to me, it's, I'm sorry, I'm slowing this all down.
And I like
Well,
to
no,
just
no, it's
maintain
fine,
our,
because
you know,
it's
faith
also,
in
you
it,
think
so.
we'll do this every other year, really, so it's
Yeah.
not even like, it's not part of our normal process
Right.
to do either, so taking some time to understand is good. I
Yeah.
don't have a problem with that, and,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, we want to maintain faith in the integrity of the process, so, you know,
So this tells me that. Oh, quick math, 1857 of 3827 were absentee or early voting, is that what I'm seeing?
right, yep.
So that's nearly half. Was early voting.
Yeah, 48%.
I believe it,
And when is early voting done? Is that that Monday or is it Sunday?
it's
That
Monday,
Monday?
Yeah.
Okay.
Close of business, I think it was 5 P.M.
right, yeah, they extended it like an extra hour.
The day prior to the
Yeah.
actual election.
Mhm.
Yes.
Okay,
And then they're open weekends as well.
Yeah.
That weekend.
that's
before.
Saturday. There were certain weekends, I think. but there
Yeah,
were some
Saturday and
Saturdays,
Sunday, the
that's-
weekend before.
Okay,
So just to think about in like 2 years, you know, Amy will be doing all the absentee stuff. So she'll be needing support to do that with staff coming to help because it'll be quite a lot.
did anybody receive any complaints about having it at the Scott County Public Works for the early voting?
Yes, a few. Yeah,
Too far?
yes.
Well, I mean, when you look.
Is there
at
a
it,
reason we have to do it in 2 years?
We don't have a place to do it.
No, I mean, why couldn't we just do Scott County in 2 years?
Or the same way it was this year.
Yeah,
I don't know that they'll do it for us in 2 years.
Oh, they won't do it for you.
That was a,
I already know.
That
they
was
won't do
a,
it for
that was
them.
a,
That's a favor.
okay,
bail us out of a tough situation
oh, okay.
type of thing, yeah.
Whereas they do that for the townships because they don't have the staff, is that kind of the thought process?
But in 2022, we did it here.
We did.
The absentee we did here, so it still can be done here. But it was a
Close
little
up
bit
a lot of
more
things.
limited, so it was
Does-
like
it
one
does
day a week.
change.
Yeah,
But it won't be like that, you know, in 2
Certain
years.
things,
If you
yeah.
guys have office hours every day
Right.
where this is open, that's generally the policy that you have to be open every day for absentee ballot.
When we're open, in our official business
Right,
hours.
right, during official
Right.
hours,
so we could do 3 days a week of early voting and not.
This
have
would
to do-
be our consideration of posting our official business hours. Would be in that thought process then in 2 years of when it would be open availability for early voting.
And right now, we're open 3 days a week.
Right now, I think our website says we're open Tuesday mornings.
Oh, is it still? I thought we
I don't know,
announced.
maybe.
Well,
we
we
changed
have on
it.
the walls,
Yeah, and I put that on the website too.
Did you update it?
Yeah,
Okay.
yep, I got Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Monday afternoons and then Tuesday,
Yeah.
Thursday mornings.
So then we would have to be available for early voting.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I'm here every day anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And should
but
we
the
stay?
difference is that, yes, staff may come and go here and when we're not officially open,
Mhm.
but that means during those times, we'd have to have election judges here to be able to process
Right.
those.
Yeah,
Right.
So that's the
Yeah.
difference, right?
Yeah.
So whatever we post for our official opening hours would be what we'd have to have.
I feel like I'm slowing us down, so.
It's okay, I mean, it's better to do it now than
Yeah.
like 2, 4 years from now, because then we're gonna wonder how come you never said anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when we do that 2 years from now, I just remember Kathy saying we couldn't have staff on site because we didn't have separation or whatnot. Is that a real thing or is that not a real thing?
No, I think you can have staff on, you can still conduct business here. But I think that where it kind of limits it is like, if you were to have a meeting or something here. You know, during those times, that would make it really hard, because then we don't have a time to, close off or conference room where that meeting can happen. Whether that be a meeting with a developer, a meeting with,
Yeah,
another.
but you could go into Eric's office,
Yeah,
close the door
You
and,
could,
Like your election
size, right?
Okay.
Yeah,
Just
All right.
a couple weeks ago, we just did our thing.
okay, so it's more about convenience and privacy
Well-
than a conflict between polling and people being on site.
Correct. There's no
I mean,
statutory conflict.
Right,
It's just-
I mean, I think about, like when we had, Jay, when we met with closed session with our attorneys and the Mason Brink attorneys, right? We had a closed session between them here and it took up, because there was 15 people here,
Sure.
so that wouldn't work in Eric's
Absolutely,
office,
yeah.
right? So you have to plan around those things
Right,
then,
right.
is
Just
what
put it
ends up
around
happening.
all days.
I mean, is it, could we use a separate? Or let me just say, is the area where the seating is in there? Between his office and the filing cabinets and from that column back to the wall, is that sufficient size for that? Well, then we could actually install some curtain doors to close that off and have a different entrance for that.
You know, we 2 years ago, we didn't do all of that. We
Right.
just kind of settled
we
the
need-
mayor in the
Yeah.
area and we did the absentee stuff as people came in and that just worked fine.
Or we could just get some stanchions and some drapery, convention stuff that close it off if we needed to, and then you could have this area for a meeting and the rest of the city hall could be. I mean, that would be a simple solution.
Yeah, but you gotta spend money for that.
Oh.
So if you don't wanna spend money, just make your days that you're having meetings, the days we're not open to the
Yeah.
public.
Keep it simple.
So
Right.
do that and we don't spend any more money.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah, I do too.
What Tanya said.
Perfect, write that down.
All right, guys, what else?
That's it.
Okay, well, if there's no other questions, we do have a resolution on the back page. I would entertain a motion to approve resolution 2024-41, a resolution to canvass the returns of the city of Credit River 2024 municipal elections held on November 5th, 2024.
So move.
Thank you, Jay.
I'll second.
Thank you, Abe. So I got a motion and a second to approve resolution 2024-41, a resolution to canvass the returns of the city of Credit River 2024 municipal elections held on November 5th, 2024. All in favor, say aye. Anybody opposed, same sign? Hearing none, motion passes. Given that's our only action on here, I'll look for Abe to give us a motion. to
I'll
adjourn.
make the motion to adjourn.
Thank you, Abe. Thank you, Jay. A motion and a second to adjourn. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed, same sign? Hearing none, motion passes. Thank you, everybody, for coming in this morning, and we will get these the official ones autographed and move on. Okay,
So the thing they need to do, Amy, is just they sign the resolution, basically.
and the abstract.
You have to have the abstract on file forever too.
So, we're gonna do it on one?
Yes, that's one right here.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah.
We do have to select some other people on next week, Tuesday morning to go. We've been selected for like all the recount.